Welcome back to another episode of STL Real Estate Roundtable. I'm your host, Jaden Barr, CEO and team leader of Keller Williams Realty Chesterfield. And today I'm joined by a very special guest, Kyle Weindel. Kyle, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I start off pretty much every episode the same way, which is what got you started in a career in real estate?
Yeah, so I would say for me, it's probably it was kind of a slow trickle of a lot of things falling into place. Probably started when I bought my first house in, I think I was like 25, 26, and didn't buy it for any particular reason. It was a fixer-upper house and would just spend the weekends working on it with my dad and friends. And it was just a good time, and ended up selling it probably 2 or 3 years later and made about $60,000 off the sale, and was like, wow, okay, that's a year's salary for at that time I was a physical therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And so was just like, wow, there's something here. I loved this process and didn't feel like I was working at all. So that kind of like opened my eyes to it. Then I had a friend who came to me asking if I wanted to buy a rental property with him because he had a friend that was selling it, and we bought it. Again, fixed it up, and then started collecting rent, and we were like, wow, this is awesome. So kind of again saw the possibilities of like a good combination of I love this and like I can make money while doing this as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was a physical therapist at the time, and then I guess a situation came up where I was growing in real estate. I think at this point I like bought a duplex and had already been house hacking, and my grandma had passed away. And I went to my manager and I said, I'm going to need some few days off to go to the services for her. And she said, if you ever want a promotion with this company, you can't take days off. And then I had some words for her.
As you should.
And in that moment, I decided I'm quitting this and I'm going into real estate full time. So, I started at TRG with Matt Delhoun. He taught me everything he knew. His team was awesome, and I learned a lot and closed, I think, 33 transactions the first year, and just been going ever since.
That's awesome. So did you have your real estate license the entire time that you were kind of like starting on the investing journey, or kind of what pushed you to that? It
wasn't until probably that situation with my manager when I decided that I didn't have enough rental properties to just sustain a career. Mm-hmm. Chad Clayman, I don't know if you know him, was my real estate agent at the time, and I was just bothering him with questions like out of curiosity, and just was...
He's like, just go get your license.
He didn't say that, but he definitely encouraged me kind of down that path. And so I did. I got my license, and then I quit my PT job and went to Matt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you experienced a lot of growth in like a very short period of time. It sounds like. What were some of the challenges that came along with that growth?
I would say the challenge, so trying to figure out time management is really probably the challenge still of today and of that time. Mm-hmm. Trying to figure out how to take care of my rental properties, take care of my business, take care of my clients, take care of, people that are close to me, take care of myself, all while trying to start this whole new career. And mm-hmm. so just trying to balance that was probably the biggest challenge, and probably swaying too far in one direction, kind of throughout mm-hmm. the time. But that was probably the hardest part.
Gotcha. Where do you think the success has come from? Like, what do you think have been some of the keys to the success in building your business to where it's at today?
Kind of starting as a physical therapist, I kind of started with a mentality of just taking care of people and being able to listen to people, and took those skills that I learned there and transfer them basically into being a real estate agent. And so having those skills on just communicating and listening, I think were really helpful. I think I'm also probably extremely thorough to a fault, to take it too far, but that's also helped me with just being extremely thorough and learning as much as I can to be able to do the best job that I can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, caring about people, right? That's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
Of growing in this industry.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know how many episodes of this podcast I've recorded at this point, but, talking to a lot of top agents, it's funny because I kind of want every episode to be different, but they all end up sounding the same because
I was afraid of that.
because top agents are, doing business the right way, right? It comes back to, hey, do the work.
Yeah.
Care about people.
Yeah.
Do what you say you're going to do. Communicate. It's like all pretty basic things, right? That are like, duh. Yeah.
And you're right. It's surprisingly hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So,
So as far as kind of like the vision for your business, like going forward, like what are you looking to grow in 2026? You mentioned time management, right? What else is going to take the business to the next level?
So I was kind of thinking about this before we met, and I think the big dream for my business is to be a combination of a company and like Uber, and have the like convenience of Uber, but then also have the thoroughness of a company like NASA, or like an organization like NASA. So like the big dream is to just be so the real estate process is extremely complicated and I want to make that process as easy as possible for my clients. So having the convenience of being able just to push a button on your phone and Uber shows up is kind of part of my motivation. And then thoroughness of NASA sending somebody to space requires lots of planning, lots of looking at all the different options and the different possibilities and trying to minimize the risk as close to zero as possible. And so I think that's like kind of what guides me. So for 2026, I'll keep working on that, keep working on different systems. And that's my plan so far. Yeah.
Awesome. So as far as, building a real estate business is not easy, right? It's no small feat. And a lot of times, like, especially, successful agents, I feel like that growth happens so quickly that we often aren't prepared for it. And so it's like, we're kind of building the plane as we're flying, right? And so I'm curious, like, I'm sure it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows since the day you got licensed. So talk me through kind of some of the, the obstacles that you face along the way, and kind of like maybe your mindset or your approach, and when those days come, whether it's, deals falling apart, or, businesses slower than you'd like it to be, or, name 1,000 other problems and things that go on in a real estate agent's life. What's kind of your approach to those type of things?
So I would say we talked about deals falling apart. So my first approach to that is probably to never be too attached to a specific outcome.
That's great.
And trying not to, I think when you're not attached to an outcome, you can be more present for your clients, and you can really do what's the best thing for them. So whether that's you go through some inspections on this amazing house that they love, but there's some serious problems with it and it just doesn't make sense to move forward. Sometimes you have to be the one to say that. Or maybe they just change their mind completely and the deal falls apart. But if you're too attached to closing on that house, then you're gonna not do as good of a job. So I would say the best advice, or the thing I try to do, is not to be too attached to the outcome. I would say other challenges back to time management is probably just, when a house comes on the market, it becomes top priority to see it as fast as possible. So of course, like we were talking earlier, that's the day you're going on vacation and your family has a birthday party and your house is a mess and you got all these things that need to happen on a Thursday night.
You got a date night. Yeah. Something's going on.
Exactly. It's always happens on the exact same, day and time. And so the challenge of trying to balance that is the challenge that I probably continue to work on and figure out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We as agents, we are terrible at setting boundaries, right?
Yeah.
I mean, name another industry where you're taking calls at 10 p.m. at night.
Last night.
Or you're available anytime the client wants, right? I mean, you try to schedule a doctor's appointment. They say, we're available Tuesday the 10th at 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. Which one works? And you're like, well, neither of those work for me. I need to be seen on Saturday. We're open Tuesday, 10 a.m. or 8 a.m. Which one works for you, right?
Yeah.
There's no, straying from that. So I think if we all kind of took the approach of, thinking like business owners, which we are, and not just salespeople and door openers, then it would kind of set a precedent for the whole industry, right? And I think, bring our, perceived value, level of respect that we get from outsiders that are just watching us and watching Selling Sunset, that would just elevate kind of the perspective that people have of real estate agents.
Yeah.
So as far as mentors, coaches, things like that, what are some things that you've learned from some other top agents, and whether it be at a conference or a training or something like that? Like what are some big takeaways that you've learned from others?
So many good things, and probably most of the things I do are learned from other people, and just putting that all together. I don't know. There's different. When I started, I had I guess she was like maybe a team leader or a coach, and it was probably one of my very first deals, and I was so excited that this client just liked this house, and I called, her name is Toika, and I called her, I think, with probably a million questions on like, okay, now what do we do about this? What do we do about this? What do we do about this? And this happened all the time. And she taught me that just kind of take things one step at a time. It's like, so she asked okay, they're going to pay cash. Do they have proof of funds? And the funny thing about that scenario is actually, no, he wanted to pay in physical cash. And I don't know where he got it from. But so she taught me why are we talking about the close, what time we're going to close when we don't even have proof of funds yet. So that's something small, but it's kind of one of the first things I always appreciated, her way of thinking like that, one step at a time, and
simplifying it.
Simplifying it, not getting too far ahead. I've learned the value of my time through many different people as well, and the fact that we do need to take time for ourselves sometimes. So that may require somebody else showing some houses or taking some phone calls or stuff like that. I don't have anything revolutionary in that, but
I think, one thing that I've just taken away from doing interviews like this is there are so many different ways to grow a wildly successful business in real estate, but it all kind of comes back to the same core principles, right? And then then you put your own flair on it, right? So you start with kind of like the core systems, models, and, you know, the core tenets of building a successful real estate business. And then once you're kind of going and the ball's rolling, then you can add your own flair. You can, you know, serve your client avatar and, you know, provide your own unique set of systems and client experience and different things like that, right? But at the end of the day, like, if you don't like cold calling, don't cold call, right?
Yeah.
Go door knock. If you don't like door knocking, okay, well, you can go and put on some awesome client events.
Yep.
Or if you don't like doing client events because you're antisocial, then you can not be a real estate agent. But, you know, there's a lot of different ways to do this. And, you know, everybody kind of has their own path, their own journey that has led to where they are.
Yeah.
So, what would you say, you know, what piece of advice would you give to an agent that's looking to grow a business to like the level that you have?
Yeah, I would say for me, it probably started with that first year of, I know most people would probably relate to this, but just being willing to do anything. And one of my very first closings was a house in Florissant, and it probably sold for like $90,000, and it was a lead, so I maybe made $1,000,
$400, yeah,
$400 on that deal. But then that person introduced me to a friend of theirs who bought, I think, a $250,000 house. Who then I've done probably 10 transactions off of that one person. And so, you know, don't overlook the small possibilities, and you never know, even if there's somebody that you don't ultimately end up closing a deal with, you know, they have a great experience with you. They're going to tell their friends and family about you, and it'll grow from there. So kind of going back to doing the best job you can, whether you're, you know, selling a $5 million house or a $5,000 lot. You know, both of those people have a network of people who I would love to be introduced to, you know, in either scenario. So, so that's probably the more big picture, you know, suggestion. I'd probably also suggest working with somebody that you can learn from and that you can ask a lot of questions of. And I know the people that have mentored me probably saved me countless hours, you know. So being with a good group who has a lot of experience, I think, is really important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I always tell people, going back to your first point there, is you're one connection away from completely changing the trajectory of your business, right? Yeah. So whether that's the, you know, $100,000 client or $5 million client, both can have huge impact, right? Because like you said, that person has a network too. And so if you serve that person at a really high level and take care of them, then, you know, the possibilities are really endless. I kind of have a similar story with two separate clients of mine. One of them served them, and then I think I've helped 7 of their family members since that transaction. And then the other one, I think she sent me, you know, 10 referrals. She like won't let any of her friends or family use anyone else, right?
Yeah.
And so that's just like a great success story, and something that I share with newer agents often is, you know, don't underestimate the possibility of, you know, that one connection, right?
100%.
Okay. So as far as, you know, looking at the business that you built, what would you say you're most proud of?
What probably maybe makes me the most excited is I'm having a lot of clients come back to me now that I helped buy their house originally, and seeing those checks that they're making, you know, off of just owning a house, you know, kind of solidifies that, yeah, we made the right decision. We did the right things. They had a wonderful house for their family. but then also are, making it's an investment for them as well. And so I'm probably most proud of when those situations come up.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So and that probably means even more to you coming from like a real estate investing background too. 100%. And that you're able to like show the path for other people.
Yeah.
Like, how do you use that in your business today? Do you call on that often, or kind of what is, how do you add value to the transaction through your investing knowledge?
Yeah, I would say every time I'm thinking about, how does this impact the person personally, but also financially? I mean, when you're spending $500,000, it better be the right way. Mm-hmm. And so, I do a really thorough job of making sure that my clients understand the financial investment portion as well. Otherwise, you might as well just go rent. So I do a mix of, people also ask me like, is now a good time to buy, or is now a good time to sell? And I do believe that the right time is whenever the right time is for you personally. And, maybe you're having a kid and you need more space, or all of your kids are moved out, or you want to move to to be closer to work or whatever. I think that's really the right time to move. But unless you're doing it as an investment piece. So that's kind of what I bring to all of my clients, is this the right time personally? And then financially, does this align with your goals? And
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Do you have any crazy showing experiences or scenarios?
Oh, sure. I always loved a carpeted bathroom. That's all.
There you go. Yeah, I think I've actually seen carpet like surrounding a tub before.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, that can't be.
How was that clean?
That can't be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had my guy that wanted to pay with physical cash for a house.
That's quite the first. That was the first client.
One of the first. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite is, you get spam calls all day long, right? Mm-hmm. Spam calls, spam texts. I remember the first time I got a WhatsApp message from someone that was like, yeah, I'm looking to buy, I'm in New York, and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I brought it to my team lead at the time. I'm like, he's a $2 million buy. This is amazing, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, Jaden, I'm sorry, but that is not, that is not legit.
Yeah. I probably had 3 of those, like where you kind of, because of course you're going to entertain the possibility. Yeah. But then when you get into it, you realize, it's spam.
Yeah.
But that's happened to me probably 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I have so many stories from like during the COVID years of just craziness. The market was wild, and like helping people buy from out of state via FaceTime. Mm-hmm. They don't see the house until closing day.
Scary. Yeah.
And you're like, man, there's a heavy burden. I hope you like it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wearing masks and gloves.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So what is kind of like the vision for your business? Any goals that you have set for this year or beyond?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm probably bad at that specific. Like, like a lot of people have specific transaction goals or volume goals. And I believe that if I do a good, and I hope this isn't a cop-out answer, but if I do a good job, I just try to do a good job for every single client. And then hopefully they will refer me to their friends and family. And so, my goal will be continue to just provide an excellent service for my clients and for their friends and family and coworkers. And, personally, 2026, I, hope to maybe look into buying more rental properties. And
that was going to be my next question, is kind of what's your investing journey, look like, and kind of, do you have several properties now? Kind of what's the wealth building plan there?
So it's I've always done it through house hacking scenarios. Okay. So I buy a house, live in it, fix it up, and then move out and rent it. And so I think I'm on number 8 now. So Tanner and I, we have a house in the city that we're fixing up. But it's bigger house, might be more of a 3 or 4 or 5 year deal. So maybe branching out and just buying stuff through wholesale or auction. And so there's not a specific plan yet, but I would like to continue to grow that as well.
Okay, cool. Where have you found most of your investment deals?
Wide variety of places. So the MLS was probably the first two. The next one was a for sale by owner. And that was awesome because it was a $150,000 house in St. Charles that of course everybody wanted. But being an agent, I could come in and I could do the transaction for them for free. And I could also meet the seller and talk to the seller. And I just liked, I still send her pictures of the house. So like for sale by owner was really nice. I had a client come to me that wanted to sell their house, and and they were just, it was a family house that they were just trying to get rid of, and I made them an offer and they accepted it.
Yeah.
So that was just through a network of people. And then our house now we got through like an off market, another agent told me about it and we wrote an offer and they accepted. So
awesome.
Yeah, wide variety.
A lot of different ways. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to learn more about auctions and buying houses through there. So that's kind of a future goal possibly.
Yeah. That's great. What are you looking to, you mentioned learning more about auctions. Is there anything else you're looking to learn more about in 2026 for your business?
AI is always interesting.
AI.
I mentioned that to you.
Tell me about it.
I think everybody talks about it.
AI and social media, right?
I do think there's a lot of potential in it. Right now I use custom GPTs for doing CMAs and stuff like that. And I think there's potential to really be able to focus on what we need to focus on and offloading a lot of the other stuff. Mm-hmm. So continue to see where that goes. Yeah.
Yeah. AI and social media, I think is the hot topic right now for every agent.
Yeah.
Right? And it can do more than just write your listing descriptions. So
100%. Yes.
It's like a lot of agents, that's like the only thing they know about AI, right? It's a tool. And I think tools, just like a hammer, can be used for good and for bad.
100%.
It's a balancing act, right? Figuring out how to maximize its capability while still, I would say, maintaining the human element of the job, right? Because it's all about connection, all about relationship, not only with your clients, but also agent to agent relationship. And so I think if you try to automate too much and take the human element out, it's, that's too far the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right? So,
but you'd be surprised with the CMA. Like I'll upload a whole, listing and it'll look at every single picture. It'll look at every single data point, and it'll look at all the comparables, and it'll pull out way more data than I could have, to come up with different pricing models and stuff. Now, ultimately I need to know, it's on me to figure out the direction, me and the client to figure out which the direction should be. But there's a lot of potential, I think, in it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Is there anything I haven't asked that I should have, Kyle?
Oh gosh.
We hit it all?
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay, Great. Well, thank you for taking what's your most valuable asset, which is your time, to come on the podcast. Really appreciate it. And look forward to seeing your business grow in 2026.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll catch you all in the next episode.